days. Don't be left behind. Join the new normal of digital world. Let radio and television be at your fingertips. Get news and current events, entertainment, sports, kiddies programs, and more at your beck and call on Al-IyamoyeTv and radio. Just visit and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on all social media platforms. Then you are a global citizen. Al-IyamoyeTv and radio. Voice of the voiceless.
It is essential to be up to date on happenings around you, and to make that easy for you, ladies and gentlemen, we present Freshlight, where we bring fresh newspaper headlines to the limelight. Mondays to Saturdays, 8:30 a.m. to 9 a.m. on Al-IyamoyeTv and radio. Watch, like, subscribe, and make sure your notification is activated on our YouTube channel. You can also like and comment on our pages on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Al-IyamoyeTv and radio. Beautiful Monday morning, the 16th day in the month of October 2023. I'm sure it is a fantastic new week for you, wherever you're watching us right on Al-IyamoyeTv and radio. The first day in the week, working day in the week. Of course, we pray that we all are blessed throughout this week. Welcome to Freshlight on Al-IyamoyeTv and radio. This is where we go through some of the stories and headlines we have to keep ourselves updated, to know what is going on around us, either in the country or outside the country. My name is Modupe Akinyosoye. Welcome to the first edition of Freshlight for the week on Al-IyamoyeTv and radio. And I have the Punch newspaper, I have the Tuesday newspaper, I have the Vanguard newspaper, and I have the Nation newspaper this morning, which we will be going through to get to see the stories we have. We'll start with the front pages of our newspapers this morning. Let's pick up, without further ado, the Punch newspaper to see what we have on the front page of the Punch newspaper. From the front page, we have this very headline: Federal government may spend 3.27 trillion naira on palliatives and loans. This comes with double riders, 15 million households to get 1.13 trillion naira for 3 months, 125 billion naira for MSMEs and others. And the second rider here says, PWDs demand more palliative from Sanwo-Olu. Kwara IDPs get relief materials. You get the details of that very story on page 7, page 19, and page 29, respectively, in the Punch newspaper. Away from that, also from the front page of the Punch, Tinubu swears in new ministers as FEC meets today. We have that on page 8 in the Punch newspaper. Naira under pressure, Nigeria may seek dollar loan. IMF revealing that on page 30 in the Punch newspaper. Fuel imports go up 843 billion naira. Stakeholders lament inactive refineries. We have that on page 2 in the Punch newspaper. And also from the front page of the Punch, editors invite Tinubu to discuss economic crises at Uyo conference. Page 8 captures that. Pastor and 3 others caught with human skull in Ogun. Page 4 captures that very unfortunate incident. And on Israel Hamas, Pope, China, and UK demand end to civilian casualties. Page 10 captures that foreign headline. And also from the front page, we have nightclub workers face prosecution for assaulting La Cepa officials. You have that with pictures right on the front page of the Punch newspaper, and page 6 captures that very story. And quickly, let's move to take some of the stories we have in the Punch newspaper. All right, we'll start with this very story from the business page of the Punch newspaper. And this is revealing that Naira under pressure, Nigeria may seek dollar loan. IMF revealing that. The International Monetary Fund has said the Naira is currently under pressure and Nigeria is free to seek loan from the fund to stabilize the currency if it considers a good option. The Washington-based lender, however, noted that recent exchange reforms and other steps taken by the Nigerian authorities were in order. It also expressed support for Al-IyamoyeTv-led Central Bank of Nigeria's last week decision to halt the 8-year foreign exchange ban on cement, rice, poultry products, and 40 other items. The past administration of the CBN had imposed the forex ban in 2015. And they made this known at the World Bank Group and International Monetary Fund meeting in Marrakesh in Morocco. The rest of that in the Punch newspaper, the business page. Naira under pressure. Nigeria may seek dollar loan, says IMF. Away from that to the Metro page of the Punch. Pastor and 3 others caught with human skull in Ogun. A pastor with the Christ Liberty Evangelism Church, Roscoe Iyanoyesi Ota Oyeneko Oluwaseyi, and 3 others have been arrested with a human skull in Shaje area of Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital. And Punch Metro learnt on Sunday that Oluwaseyi and 3 others, 30-year-old Ibrahim, 40-year-old Suleiman Ogunbumi, and 57-year-old Gafari Akinyosoye, were arrested by men of the State Police Command in the early hours of Saturday. A source on the command told the correspondent that the suspect claimed they had intended to use the skull for rituals. The source added that the arrest was made following a tip-off from members of the public about the suspect's suspicious movements and activities in the area. The rest of our very Metro story from the Metro page of the Punch. Pastor and 3 others caught with human skull in Ogun State. Away from that, taking a trip outside Nigeria to give you this very report that Ecuador elects youngest ever president, Daniel Noboa, to fix destroyed country. Car-ons in Quito blurred in celebration on Sunday as Banana Empire heir Daniel Noboa, 35, became violent, riddled Ecuador's youngest president-elect ever. With 90% of vote counted, the Electoral Authority announced Noboa as the victor. Moment earlier, socialist rival Luisa Gonzalez conceded defeat and offered profound congratulations to Noboa because this is democracy. Addressing supporters in Quito, Gonzalez also said she would not be claiming fraud. The rest of our very story in the Punch newspaper. Ecuador elects youngest ever president, Daniel Noboa, to fix destroyed country. And also still outside Nigeria, but this time around to Israel. Israel, Hamas deny reports of temporary ceasefire. The Israeli Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu's office and Hamas on Monday denied reports of a territory ceasefire in Gaza to enable humanitarian aid to come in and foreigners to leave at the Rafah border crossing between Gaza and Egypt. There is currently no ceasefire and humanitarian aid in Gaza in return for removing foreigners, a statement from Netanyahu's office said. Hamas official Izzat El-Rashik also stated that there was no truth to report about the opening of the Rafah border crossing or temporary ceasefire, CBS reports. The rest of that in the Punch. Israel and Hamas deny reports of temporary ceasefire. Away from the Punch, let's see what we have in the This Day newspaper. All right, let's see the front page of the This Day newspaper to give you a couple of headlines right on the front page of the This Day. Enough is enough. Pope Francis wades into Israel-Gaza war. We have that with a couple of riders right on the front page. Details on page 5 in the This Day newspaper. Shatima leaves for Beijing to attend Road Initiative Forum for International Cooperation. You have that with the rider to also participate in AFDB World Food Prize Facilitated International Dialogue in USA. Page 5 as well captures that very story. Stand Chart report, Nigeria and others exports may hit $1 trillion by 2035. Page 8 captures that very story. Ganduje says we will protect APC's mandates in Nasarawa. That on page 5 as well in the This Day newspaper. And also you get to see the picture of Deputy Governor, Economic Policy, Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, Mohammed Sani Abdullahi, CBN Governor, Mr. Al-IyamoyeTv, Governor, Bank of Ghana, BDG, Dr. Ernest Addison, and the first Deputy Governor of the BDG, Dr. Maxwell Opoku Afari, during the meeting between the two central banks on the sideline of just concluded 2023 annual meetings of the World Bank and the International Monetary Fund held in Marrakesh, Morocco, right on the front page of the This Day newspaper. And quickly going through the This Day newspaper, let's pick this very story right here that says, Shettima leaves for Beijing to attend Road Initiative Forum for International Cooperation with a rider to also participate in AFDB, African Development Bank World Food Prize facilitating international dialogue in USA. Vice President Kashim Shettima yesterday departed Abuja for Beijing, China, to represent President Bola Tinubu at the upcoming Third Belt and Road Initiative (BRI) Forum, scheduled to hold from 16th to 18th October 2023. The delegation of the Vice President to the forum included Minister of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Yusuf Tugar, Budget and Economic Planning, Senator Atiku Abubakar Bagudu, Transportation, Senator Saidu Ahmed Alkali, Works, Senator David Umahi, Industry, Trade and Investment, Dr. Doris Nkirika Uzoka, Managing Director of the Nigeria Railway Corporation, Fidet Okiria, and Director General of Infrastructure Concession Regulatory Commission, Michael Okiani. Shettima leaves for Beijing to attend Road Initiative Forum for International Cooperation. You get that in the This Day newspaper. And away from that, we also have this report. To address fiscal gap in 2023 budget, federal government seeks fresh $1.5 billion loan facility from World Bank. This comes with triple riders, says Nigeria now prime destination for foreign investors, promises monetary fiscal policies coordination, insists Tinubu's administration will not breach ways and means limits. And the last rider here says, Finance Minister emerges chair of African caucus in IMF executives. All right, another rider here says, FEC meets on Monday. Obina China, Eromosele Abiodun and Nume Ekebe in Marrakesh in Morocco. As part of the effort to address the fiscal gap in the 2023 budget, the federal government yesterday disclosed that it had concluded plans to secure a fresh $1.5 billion loan facility from the World Bank. The Minister of Finance, the Coordinating Minister of Economy, Mr. Wale Edun, disclosed this while speaking with journalists at the ongoing 2023 annual meetings of the World Bank and the International Monetary Fund, IMF, in Marrakesh in Morocco. To address fiscal gap in 2023 budget, federal government seeks fresh $1.5 billion loan facility from World Bank. Away from that business story, we also have a statement credited to Okonjo-Iweala, calls for enhanced efforts to boost access to trade finance. The Director General of the World Trade Organization, Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, has highlighted the importance of increasing access to trade finance for small businesses to assist their integration into global supply chains. Speaking at a session at the just concluded annual meetings of the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank in Marrakesh, Morocco, the former Nigeria's Minister of Finance emphasized that trade finance plays a vital role in supporting inclusive participation in world trade and urged multilateral development banks to intensify efforts to reduce the finance gap between demand and supply. The event was co-hosted by International Finance Corporation, IFC, Managing Director Makhtar Diop. From the This Day, Okonjo-Iweala calls for enhanced efforts to boost access to trade finance. You get that very detailed from the This Day newspaper. Let's quickly dash into our commercial room. We'll continue and go through newspapers more after this short break. Stay with us. Still Freshlight on Al-IyamoyeTv and radio.
Gbogbo aláfẹ́ tó gbayì tó fẹ́ wọṣọ yìí ṣoge tó bágbà mu ló ń kọjá lọ sí House of Zion.
happiness.
House of Zayana, the name I know when we talk of top-notch fashion, quality materials and class. House of Zayana, Letima Rojulowo Turkey wears, Egypt and Malaysia clothing, Dubai, àwọn designer bags lóríṣiríṣi, àwọn ìtẹ̀lẹ̀ bàtà tó jiná tí wọ́n fawọ́ original ṣe, àwọn aago kájọ́ tó ń ka wákàtí ọjọ́, designer sunglasses and perfumes, pẹ̀lú àwọn gbogbo nǹkan tóbìnrin àsìkò fi ń gbafẹ́ lò gbà. Mo débẹ̀, ojú mi ń ṣe kámi, èmi ni ó rà, èmi ni ó mú. Gbogbo ẹ̀yin mùsùlùmí ẹlẹ́sìn tẹ́ gbòógì gbọ́n pa fashion tẹ́ wá nílò jàlábíà, hijab àti àbáyà lóríṣiríṣi. House of Zayana lẹ́ ò ti rí gbogbo ẹ̀ rà. House of Zayana wà ní 52 Ọlọ́run ṣògo road adjacent Redeemed Church Agape Parish Ọlọ́run ṣògo Abẹ́òkúta. Lórí Instagram House of Zayana 08165688618. House of Zayana, ilé ìtajà tá a ti ń tojúlówó aṣọ àti nǹkan aṣaralóge tí ń gbéni níyì.
Thousands have been disappointed severally in their bid to seek greener pasture abroad. To those quack in the traveling agency business, it is a rocket science. That is not our case at Taustaf Travels and Tour. We have in-depth details on how to successfully, without stress, help you process and secure your visa to anywhere in the world. Do you want permanent residential visa, visiting and tourism visa, student visa to places like Europe, America, Asia, Africa? It's no big deal to us at Taustaf Travels and Tour. Our years of experience and expertise speaks volume for us. Let's process and secure visa for you to UK, USA, and Canada within a twinkle of an eye. We offer Hajj and Umrah services to our Muslim faithfuls. What are you waiting for? Consult us at number 9 Taustaf Central Mosque, Sholanke Street, behind Laroy Hotel, Abiola Way, Abeokuta. 0802 733 0900 or 0806 578 4060. Stop wasting money. Pay for peace of mind. Talk to Taustaf Travels and Tour.
You're still on to Freshlight on Al-IyamoyeTv and radio. Thank you so much for staying with us. And still going through a couple of newspapers this morning. Picking up the Vanguard newspaper, let's see what we have on the front page of the Vanguard newspaper. 21 states owe 790 billion naira inherited pensions and gratuities, with several riders on page 5 in the Vanguard newspaper. Away from that, and headline here on petrol, marketers short fueling stations as scarcity spreads to Lagos and environs. Page 9 has that very story. Tinubu to preside over FEC meeting today. Page 8 captures that. Owaneze to meet Tinubu over Nnamdi Kanu. Page 11 rather captures that very story. On Israel-Hamas war, U.S. woos Saudi, Egypt and others to pressure Hamas to free hostages. Page 8 captures that very story. On annual editors confirm experts to probe state of economy. Page 8 also has that very story. Also from the front page of the Vanguard, federal government targets to MBPD oil production, 2 million barrels per day oil production to boost revenue and forex. Minister revealing that on page 9 in the Vanguard newspaper. And also Serap to Apabio and Abbas don't regulate social media. Page 10 captures that very story. And on Guba polls, remove Imo Rec to avoid Adamawa Flasco. PDP tells INEC. Page 8 also captures that very story. And also a sport headline here says, Osime Hienacho caught as Super Eagles tackles Mambas. Page 30 captures that sports story. And also you get to see foreign investment in manufacturing up 88% to $861 million. Page 19 captures that very story. And you get to see the picture of Oba of Bini at a Moro festival right on the front page of the Vanguard newspaper. Let's quickly go through the Vanguard newspaper. We have this very report from the Vanguard. We start with 21 states hold 790 billion naira inherited pensions and gratuities, with a couple of riders. Rivers, Benue State top list with 119 billion naira and 100 billion naira. Southwest, Niger Delta regions have 256 billion naira and 225 billion naira. What we are doing to offset arrears, says state. All right, the story reveals that Vanguard checks reveal that while River State tops the list of states with a backlog of unpaid pensions and gratuities to the tune of 119 billion naira, Benue State comes second with 100 billion naira. Similarly, the Southwest Zone ranks first with a whooping of 256 billion naira, while the Niger Delta is closely following it with 225 billion naira. It was also learned that the pensions and gratuities were accumulated by successive governments in the state. Incumbent governments now grapple with liquidating their debts. And according to Vanguard investigations, only Kaduna and Kebbi states are up to date in the payment of pensions and gratuities to their retirees. From the Vanguard, 21 states owe 790 billion naira inherited pensions and gratuities. Away from that, we also have this report on petrol that says oil marketers short fueling stations as scarcity spreads to Lagos and environs. There were indications yesterday that petrol scarcity has returned to Lagos and its environs as many oil marketers shut their outlets against motorists and other buyers. The scarcity was noticed in Abuja and environs last week. Development oil marketers had attributed to bad roads and high cost of diesel for distribution, but checks by Vanguard over the weekend indicated that many independent and major oil marketers were not open for business, leaving only the NNPC Limited to attend to customers in most parts of Lagos visited. And it was gathered that NNPC Limited was a supply because it remains the only importer of the product. On petrol, oil marketers short fueling stations as scarcity spreads to Lagos and environs. And okay, let's see what we have from the Vanguard. Northern Group cautions federal government against scrapping N-Power program. A group, the Proactive Northern Initiative, has cautioned the federal government against suspending the N-Power program or any part of the social investment program, insisting that N-Power had provided jobs and kept Northern youth away from extremist ideologies. The group, in a statement issued by Comrade Isa Ali-Musa, the convener, demanded that the government immediately reconsider its decision and instead invest in expanding the N-Power program to provide opportunities for youth, fostering positive change and ultimately contributing to the region's progress. Northern Group cautions federal government against scrapping N-Power program. The Vanguard newspaper captures that very story. And also we have Tinubu to preside FEC today. Barring any last-minute change, President Bola Tinubu will be presiding over the second Federal Executive Council FEC meeting of his administration. Recall that President Tinubu took over from Muhammadu Buhari on May 29, and the new ministers were sworn in on August 21 at the Conference Hall State House in Abuja. The FEC is the decision-making body of the government, which comprises the president, the vice president, who preside over the council meeting in the absence of the president and the ministers. Tinubu to preside over FEC today. You have that in the Vanguard newspaper. And also from the Vanguard, pains of fuel subsidy removal are temporary, says federal government. The federal government has reassured that the pains being experienced by Nigerians over the recent removal of fuel subsidy will be temporary. The Minister of Information and National Orientation, Alhaji Mohammed Idris, gave the assurance in an interview with the News Agency of Nigeria in Abuja. He explained that it was obvious that the ultimate benefit of removal of the subsidy would be reaped by the common man. Pains of fuel subsidy removal are temporary, says federal government. And from the sports page of the Vanguard, IOC approves cricket for 2028 Los Angeles Olympics. Mumbai, India cricket will feature as one of the 5 new sports at the 2028 Olympic Games in Los Angeles. Organizers announced on Monday a vote of the International Olympic Committee session in Mumbai approved cricket together with basketball and softball, flag football, squash, and lacrosse. The IOC's executive board last week accepted a proposal by LA organizers, Los Angeles organizers, for 2020 cricket, the sport's shortest format, to be included along with the 4 other new events. From the sports page of the Vanguard, IOC approves cricket for 2028 Los Angeles Olympics. And away from that, let's see what we have in the Nation newspaper this morning. And from the front page of the Nation newspaper, we have a couple of headlines like Tinubu, why Supreme Court can't admit Atiku's CSU evidence. You have that with a couple of riders, double riders on page 4 in the Nation newspaper. Economy tackles center stage as Federal Executive Council meets, page 4 has that very story. It's time to fix Lagos-Abeokuta Expressway, says Apabio. Page 5 has that very story. Nigerian equities post third highest global returns. And the details on page 18 in the Nation. Experts to examine economy at editor's annual confab. That's also resurfacing on page 28 in the Nation newspaper. IMF backs bid to cut inflation and ease debt burden by countries. We have that with Ryder on page 28 in the Nation newspaper. Former Niger Delta warlords unite against oil theft. Page 6 captures that very story. United States to avert escalation of Israel-Hamas war. Page 6 captures that. We are Bukai neck and neck in Liberia poll. We have that on page 6 as well in the Nation newspaper. 30 drowned, 167 missing in Congo boat accident. Rather sad incident on page 6 in the Nation newspaper. Foreign reserves halt 5-month decline. Page 17 captures that story in the Nation. Blue rail line now electric. You have that on page 6 in the Nation newspaper. And also you get to see the picture of the scene and an accident on Oshodi Bagada Expressway, Lagos, which claimed 3 lives on Saturday night. You get to see that right on the front page of the Nation newspaper. All right, quickly going into the belly of the Nation newspaper. Let's quickly take a trip to Ondo State with a story. Police and DSS storm PDP secretariat in Ondo. Police operatives and their counterparts in the Directorate of State Security, DSS, have stormed Ondo secretariat of the People's Democratic Party, PDP. The armed security operatives stationed their vehicles outside the secretariat. Spokesman for the Ondo PDP, Kennedy Parite, said the presence of a security operatives was to prevent a planned peaceful protest by youth of the party. Police and DSS stormed PDP secretariat in Ondo. The Nation captures that story. It's time to fix Lagos Ota Abeokuta Road, says Apabio with a rider. Abiodun seeks transfer of federal government roads in Ogun State. Senate President Godswill Apabio has said Lagos Ota Abeokuta Road needs urgent repairs to relieve its users of further harrowing experience. He promised federal government assistance to put the road in a better shape, as well as other federal roads across the state. The Senate President relieved his experience on the deplorable state of a federal roads he passed through while traveling from Lagos to Ilaro in Ogun State at the weekend. From the Nation, it's time to fix Lagos Ota Abeokuta Road, says Apabio. Away from that, we also have, let's take this from the business page of the Nation. IMF backs bids to cut inflation and ease debt burden by countries. With a rider, we are mediating between creditors, debtor nations, says fund president. The annual meetings of the World Bank and International Monetary Fund ended at the weekend with commitments by the Bretton Woods institutions to mobilize global focus on the reduction of spiraling inflation and debt burden affecting most developing countries. Inflation and debt burden are 2 major economic issues affecting Nigeria, like several other emerging economies. And the National Bureau of Statistics is expected to announce today a new spike in inflation rate from 25.8% to above 27%. From the Nation, IMF backs bid to cut inflation and ease debt burden by countries. Away from that, let's quickly move straight to the sports page of the Nation. This says FCTFA boss backs NFF on Saudi Arabia 2034. The Federal Capital Territory Football Association chairman Mohammed Adam Mukhtar has thrown its weight behind Saudi Arabia's bid to host the 2034 FIFA World Cup. Just last week, the Nigerian football Love It Just Federation, President Ibrahim Gusa was quoted as saying that the oil-rich Saudi Arabia has everything to stage a successful Mondial. From The Nation, FCT FA boss backs NFF on Saudi Arabia 2034. And also from the sports page of The Nation, on hamstring injury, Osimhen returns to Italy. Victor Osimhen has returned to his base in Italy as the Super Eagles striker awaits the scan results of the hamstring injury he suffered during Nigeria's 2-2 draw against Saudi Arabia the weekend. Osimhen was replaced in the 55th minute due to a hamstring injury, and he has been ruled out from today's friendly against Mambaz of Mozambique. But decent sources at the Super Eagles camp yesterday informed that the result of the MRI scan conducted in Portugal is expected today, even as the player has jetted out to his base in Naples for further evaluation by his Italian club Napoli. On hamstring injury, Osimhen returns to Italy. From the sports page of The Nation newspaper, and from that sports story, we'll call it today this morning on Freshlight on Al-IyamoyeTv and radio. Thank you so much. Don't forget, you can still follow us on our social media platform, on Facebook at Al-IyamoyeTV Radio, on our X platform, formerly Twitter, at Iyamoye_TV, on Instagram at Al-IyamoyeTV. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel at Al-IyamoyeTV Radio and turn on your alarm button to get notifications of our programs. I remain Modupe, Akinyosoye. Thank you so much for joining us this morning on Freshlight. Good morning.